Something unusual happened in the AI world this week. Not a big tech keynote, not a billion-dollar acquisition, not a new foundation model. Instead, an open-source AI agent built by a small team quietly appeared on GitHub and then detonated across the internet. In less than 2 months, it crossed 100,000 GitHub stars, pulled in millions of visitors, spawned copycat tools, malware, security warnings, and forced multiple name changes after legal pressure. If you've seen the names Clawdbot, Moltbot, or OpenClaw, you're looking at the same project, a single idea evolving in real time. Supporters call it the first real personal AI assistant. Critics call it a loaded gun pointed at your operating system. Security researchers are calling it a supply chain nightmare, and enterprises are quietly blocking it outright. So today, we're breaking it all down. What OpenClaw actually is, why it went viral, why it scares security teams, and what this tells us about the future of agentic AI. At its core, OpenClaw is not just a chatbot, it's an autonomous AI agent. That distinction matters. Unlike ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, which wait for prompts, OpenClaw is designed to run continuously, in the background, on your own machine. It can read and write local files, execute shell commands, control browsers, access email, calendars, messaging apps, trigger actions based on events, not prompts, communicate proactively via Telegram, Slack, WhatsApp, Signal, iMessage. In other words, OpenClaw doesn't just respond, it acts. This puts it closer to something like Jarvis than a chatbot, and that's exactly why people got excited. The original name was Clawdbot, a lobster-themed pun on Claude. That lasted briefly. According to the project's creator, Peter Steinberger, Anthropic's legal team reached out with trademark concerns, polite but firm. So Clawdbot became Moltbot, a reference to lobsters shedding their shells as they grow. The community liked the metaphor, they did not like the name. Then came the final rebrand, OpenClaw. Trademark checks passed, domains were secured, migration code was written, and the team publicly stated, "This is the final name." But the damage was already done. Fake projects appeared, malicious clones popped up, and confusion became a security risk in itself. Multiple Reddit threads now warn that fake Clawdbot sites and extensions are still circulating, even after takedowns. This wasn't hype marketing, this was timing. 3 forces collided at once. Number 1, the rise of agentic AI. 2025 and 2026 marked the shift from chatbots to agents. People don't want better answers anymore, they want delegation. Handle this, remind me, fix that, watch this folder. OpenClaw arrived at the exact moment developers were ready to give AI keys, not just keyboards. Number 2, local execution equals control. Unlike cloud assistants, OpenClaw runs locally. That means no forced subscriptions, no vendor lock-in, full access to your own system. The slogan says it all. Your assistant, your machine, your rules. For developers burned by closed platforms, that message hit hard. Number 3, open source gravity. Once GitHub stars started climbing, gravity took over. Spin-offs appeared, plugins exploded, entire ecosystems formed. One of them, Moltbook, became a social network entirely run by AI agents, with tens of thousands of autonomous accounts talking only to each other. No humans allowed. That alone triggered alarm bells across AI safety circles. Let's be very clear. OpenClaw can execute arbitrary commands, access sensitive files, control browsers with logged-in sessions, persist memory over time, and operate without continuous human oversight. That combination is unprecedented at this scale. Security analysts describe it as a self-hosted insider threat. If compromised, OpenClaw doesn't need to break in. It's already inside. Enterprise security teams hate 2 things: shadow IT and tools that act autonomously. OpenClaw is both. It bypasses centralized logging, runs outside managed environments, breaks traditional audit models, and obscures intent behind agent reasoning. Several enterprise security vendors have already flagged OpenClaw as high-risk software, recommending outright bans. One analysis described it as, "A local AI agent with unrestricted privileges is functionally indistinguishable from a sophisticated insider threat." Here's the key point. OpenClaw is not the problem, it's the preview. Research frameworks like Aura and ATFFA have been warning for over a year that autonomous agents introduce new classes of risk: goal drift, long-term memory misuse, delayed exploitability, non-deterministic behavior, and broken accountability chains. OpenClaw simply made those risks visible to the public. Despite all of this, the stars keep climbing, the community keeps building, and the agents keep acting. Because when it works, it feels like the future. An assistant that remembers you, watches for events, acts without being told, actually does things. Once you experience that, going back to prompt-only AI feels primitive. OpenClaw won't be the last. It's the first viral example of something much bigger: AI that doesn't wait for permission. The real question isn't whether AI is safe, it's whether we're ready for it. Because the agents are already here. To understand why OpenClaw caused such a strong reaction, you have to look at how it's built. Most AI assistants follow a simple loop: user prompt, model response, end. OpenClaw breaks that loop. Instead, it runs an event-driven architecture. The agent monitors inputs continuously, stores state and memory locally, evaluates goals repeatedly, decides when to act. This means OpenClaw can wake itself up, not metaphorically, literally. A new email arrives, a file changes, a message is received, a timer fires. The agent sees it, reasons about it, and acts. That puts it closer to an operating system process than an app. Security engineers describe this as persistent autonomy, and it's something most consumer AI products explicitly avoid. One of OpenClaw's most praised features is also one of its most dangerous: long-term memory. OpenClaw stores past conversations, task histories, decisions, tool usage, failures, and retries, all locally. Over time, the agent builds a behavioral profile of its user. That's powerful, but it also means if compromised once, the attacker doesn't just get access, they get context. Security researchers call this memory poisoning. A malicious instruction planted today could influence decisions weeks later. Traditional malware doesn't think, agents do. Prompt injection used to be funny. Ignore previous instructions, act like a pirate. With agents, it's no longer a joke. OpenClaw reads web pages, PDFs, emails, chat messages. If any of those contain hidden instructions, the agent may treat them as trusted input. Researchers demonstrated scenarios where a web page instructed the agent to search for API keys, an email convinced it to forward documents, a PDF caused command execution. This is not a bug, it's an architectural vulnerability shared by all agentic systems. OpenClaw just made it obvious. OpenClaw being open source is a double-edged sword. The good, auditable code, rapid fixes, transparent behavior, no black boxes. The bad, attackers can study it, malware authors can fork it, vulnerabilities spread faster. In fact, within days of OpenClaw's rise, weaponized forks appeared, some marketed as optimized builds, others disguised as plugins. Several were later confirmed to include credential stealers, backdoors, and persistence mechanisms. Open source doesn't mean safe, it means honest. One of the most viral descriptions of OpenClaw was this: it's the first company with 0 employees. At first glance, that sounds like a meme, but it's not wrong. Some users configured OpenClaw to monitor markets, generate reports, post content, respond to messages, maintain websites, all without human intervention. No CEO, no staff, no sleep. This is the moment AI stopped being a tool and started resembling an organization. And legally, that's uncharted territory. So far, no regulator has named OpenClaw directly, but policy language is shifting. Recent AI governance drafts now include phrases like autonomous decision-making systems, persistent AI agents, and self-initiated actions. That's not accidental. Governments aren't worried about chatbots. They're worried about systems that act continuously. OpenClaw is now being cited informally in policy discussions as an example of why agentic AI needs new rules, not recycled chatbot ones. You might notice something strange. OpenAI hasn't commented, Google hasn't commented, Anthropic hasn't commented. That silence is strategic. Every major AI lab is building agents internally. They just don't want this version to define the narrative, because OpenClaw exposes the uncomfortable truth. Once agents are autonomous, alignment is no longer just a training problem, it's an operations problem. For years, AI lived behind a prompt. That era is ending. OpenClaw shows what happens when AI stops waiting, starts acting, and never logs out.
The question now isn't if agents will run our systems, it's whether we'll build the guardrails before or after something breaks, because the age of autonomous AI didn't arrive with a keynote, it arrived quietly on GitHub. That's it. If you like this breakdown, make sure to subscribe. Catch you in the next one.